In this video, I'll explain whether your SaaS should be an LLC or a corporation. I'm Santiago Cueto. I'm a board-certified international business law expert and best-selling author, and I've structured hundreds of software companies over the past decade. So LLC or corporation, this decision will affect your taxes, it will affect your ability to raise capital, and it will affect your exit strategy. Get it wrong, and you could lose hundreds of thousands of dollars, or worse, you could kill your company's growth before it even starts. So let's get into it. Here's what most SaaS founders don't realize. The entity you choose today determines the investors you can work with tomorrow. I had a client last year, a smart guy, built a solid SaaS product. Revenue was climbing. He incorporated as an LLC because someone told him it was just simpler. Then a VC firm wanted to invest $2 million and they walked away. Not because of his product, not because of his numbers, it's because he was an LLC. VCs don't invest in LLCs. They can't. Their fund structure won't allow it. He had to convert to a C Corporation. That conversion cost him $30,000 in legal fees. It delayed his funding for 4 months, and it created a messy cap table that haunted him through his Series A round. The entity choice you make isn't just paperwork, it's a strategic business decision. Now let me be clear about something up front. When I say corporation, I'm talking specifically about a C Corporation, not an S Corporation. S Corps have the same investor problems as an LLC. All right, so let's start with the LLC. This is what a lot of early stage founders choose. The appeal is obvious. LLCs are simple, they're flexible, they have pass-through taxation. Pass-through taxation means the company itself doesn't pay taxes. The profits and losses flow through to your personal tax returns. You report the income, you pay the tax, you're done. This is great when you're just starting out. You're probably losing money in year one. Those losses offset other income. You get a tax benefit immediately. Now, LLCs also have flexible profit distribution. You don't have to split profits based on ownership percentage. You can set up any arrangement you want. Maybe one partner contributed cash, another contributed sweat equity. You can structure distributions to reflect that. And LLCs have fewer formalities. No board meetings, no shareholder meetings, no corporate minutes. You just run your business. The operating agreement gives you tremendous flexibility. You can customize governance however you want. You can create special voting rights. You can restrict transfers. You can set up vesting schedules for membership interests. This flexibility can be powerful for certain business models. But if you're building a profitable SaaS tool that throws off cash, an LLC structure lets you take distributions without the formality of declared dividends. So why doesn't everyone choose an LLC? I get that question a lot. Well, there's 3 reasons. The first is investors won't touch them. I already mentioned the VCs, but it's not just VCs. Most angel investors prefer corporations also. They want preferred stock. They want liquidation preferences. They want anti-dilution protection. You can't easily provide these in an LLC. Second, employees expect stock options. Stock options are a standard part of tech compensation, but LLCs don't have stock. They have membership interests. You can create something similar called profit interest, but it's complicated. It's non-standard, and top talent expects equity compensation that they understand. Third, the tax advantage disappears as you grow. Once you're profitable and reinvesting that profit into growth, pass-through taxation becomes a liability. You're paying personal income tax on money you're not even taking out of the company. That can push you into a higher tax bracket on phantom income. Now let's talk about C Corporations. That's really what we're here for. C Corps are the standard for venture-backed startups. There's a reason for that. C Corps can issue different classes of stock. Common stock for founders and employees, preferred stock for investors. Each class has different rights, different liquidation preferences, different voting power. This flexibility is essential for raising capital. Investors need these protections. They're putting in millions of dollars into you, after all. They want downside protection before you get paid. Now, C Corps also make equity compensation straightforward. You grant stock options. Employees understand them. There's a clear path to liquidity when you exit. You can implement an equity incentive plan. You can grant ISOs or NSOs. There's decades of precedent for how these work. And C Corps have a clear path to going public. If your SaaS grows to that level, you're already in the right structure. Investment banks understand C Corps. Public market investors understand C Corps. You're not doing a last-minute conversion right before an IPO. But C Corps have that double taxation problem. The corporation pays taxes on its profits. Then when you take money out as dividends, you pay tax again personally. Well, here's the thing though. Most SaaS companies don't pay dividends. You're reinvesting every dollar into growth. You're hiring engineers. You're paying for cloud infrastructure. You're scaling sales and marketing. So in practice, the double taxation issue is mostly theoretical. You're not taking distributions. You're building value in the company. You'll pay capital gains tax when you eventually sell. But that's one tax event, not ongoing double taxation. And if you qualify for QSBS, you might not pay any tax at all on your exit. Qualified small business stock rules let you exclude up to $10 million in gains if you meet certain requirements. That's only available with C corporations. That's important to know. Now, if you're finding this helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button right now and subscribe to my channel. I break down complex business law topics like this every single week. You'll want these insights as you build your company. Let's talk about where to incorporate. This matters more than most founders realize. Everyone talks about Delaware, and for good reason. Delaware has the most developed body of corporate law in the country. Now, the Court of Chancery specializes in business disputes. Judges there have seen every possible corporate scenario. The outcomes are predictable. VCs are comfortable with Delaware corporations. Their lawyers are comfortable with Delaware corporations. If you're raising venture capital, Delaware makes sense. But here's what people don't talk about enough. Florida is also an excellent place to incorporate your SaaS company, whether you choose an LLC or a corporation. See, for me, I'm based in Florida. I've incorporated dozens of successful SaaS companies here, and there are real advantages to that. First, Florida has no state income tax. Neither does Delaware, but Florida residents also don't pay state income tax personally. If you're bootstrapping and taking distributions, this saves you money immediately. Second, Florida's business owners are modern and founder-friendly. The Florida LLC Act is one of the most flexible in the country. The Florida Business Corporation Act provides strong liability protections. Third, Florida has robust privacy protections. You can form an LLC without publicly disclosing member names. This is valuable if you want to keep your business ventures private. And fourth, if you're actually doing business in Florida, incorporating here avoids the need to register as a foreign entity. You see, every state where you do substantial business requires registration. If you incorporate in Delaware and operate in Florida, you're registering in both states. You're filing annual reports in both states. You're paying fees in both states. Fifth, Florida is increasingly recognized as a tech hub. Miami, where I am, has exploded as a startup ecosystem. It's all around me and I've seen it. Tampa and Orlando also have growing tech scenes. Investors are paying attention to Florida companies. Now, if you're planning to raise significant venture capital from Silicon Valley firms, Delaware still makes sense. The preference for Delaware is strong in that world. But if you're bootstrapping, raising from angels, or building a profitable SaaS tool without venture backing, Florida remains an excellent choice. You get the same liability protection, you get better tax treatment if you're a Florida resident, and you avoid the complexity of maintaining entities in multiple states. I've had clients incorporate in Florida and successfully raise seed rounds for Miami-based investors. I've had clients build 8-figure SaaS companies as Florida LLCs. The entity structure worked perfectly for their strategy at the right time. The key is matching your incorporation decision to your business strategy. So, all right, so which structure in which state should you choose? Now, let me give you the straight answer. If you're building a SaaS company that you plan to bootstrap indefinitely, a Florida LLC might work perfectly. For right now, remember what I said about C Corps. That's the way to go. But if you're building a lifestyle business that generates steady cash flow that you might take out regularly, a Florida LLC might work perfectly. But if you plan to raise significant venture capital from West Coast VCs, start as a Delaware C Corporation. Don't wait. Don't do an LLC with plans to convert later. Here's why. Converting from an LLC to a C Corp triggers a taxable event. The IRS treats it as if you sold your LLC membership interest and bought stock. If your company has increased in value, you owe taxes on that gain, even though you didn't actually receive any cash. Now, I've seen founders owe six-figure tax bills from conversions. That's money straight out of your pocket, money you could have spent on product development or marketing. Starting as a C Corp from day one avoids this problem entirely. Now, what about the argument that you want pass-through taxation in the early years when you're losing money? I get it, but those losses are usually small, a few $1,000s, maybe tens of thousands of dollars. The tax benefit from those losses don't outweigh the cost and complexity of converting later on. It's short-term thinking. If you're raising capital from local angels or building in Florida's ecosystem, a Florida C Corporation gives you the same benefits as Delaware. You can issue preferred stock, you can grant stock options, you can scale the company, and you simplify your compliance by operating where you're incorporated. And one final point, some lawyers will tell you to start as an LLC and convert later. They'll say it gives you flexibility. What they're really doing is creating two billing events instead of just one. They incorporate you twice. They charge you twice. Bottom line, if you're serious about building a venture scale SaaS company with traditional VC backing, incorporate as a Delaware C Corporation from day one. If you're building in Florida with plans to bootstrap or raise locally, a Florida C Corporation or even a Florida LLC can work beautifully. Give yourself the option to raise capital. Make your equity compensation straightforward. Avoid expensive conversions down the road. Your entity structure is one of the few decisions that's hard to reverse. Get it right the first time. If you found this video valuable, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I share insights like this regularly to help you avoid expensive legal mistakes. I'm Santiago Cueto, your Florida business attorney. Be sure to watch more of my videos right here.